answers and insights, and freedom in our sights. It's Rhyme and Reason 602. There's a rhyme and reason for your life. There's a rhyme and reason why you're... Hey there, Tony here again, and I'm talking some freedom talk today. Are you ready to be free? I mentioned that on the last episode. Free indeed. Seems like somebody famous said that. Anyway, I'm going to talk about answers and insights today because those were the promises of search technology in the age of information, right? Google is going to give us answers and insights. And the promises have been kept, but at the same time, corruption crept in. Just like it always has in all the endeavors of mankind. Well, not all of them, but you know what I mean. During all generations, corruption has crept in. It's reared its ugly head in every generation, and we are another generation that, yep, it's in there. I mean, you can type in a word or a phrase for, anything you want to look for. Like, you get instant answers and insights. And it's kind of cool because you can just trigger ideas when you type in letters or words and phrases, up there in the search bar. That happens because Google and other search engines have what they call suggestions for you. It's based on what people have been looking for and maybe even a little bit of what you've been looking for. And it's pretty cool. I can say it's a powerful tool for writing because it's a great way to get ideas. But like everything else, like I said, humans get their selfishness wrapped around it, and it, has a dark side. The dark side comes out. For example, I read an article about what appears to be manipulated results from searches on the subject of election fraud in America. What? People do that? Yeah, appears that they do that. And then there's social media censorship. They place that on the information from sources whose worldview, let's say, leans to the right. But you know what? If you're a Christian, none of this should come as much of a surprise to you. At least not if you remember what Jesus said about those who hated and persecuted him. What makes it so excruciatingly despicable, though, is how many brave and strong Americans really gave their valiant efforts and even their lives to ensure this country could be a beacon of light, a ray of hope to a world that's filled with hatred for Jesus. I know generations in America grew up knowing they could worship God freely. They knew that. And knowing they could happily enjoy life and liberty without fear of persecution. Christians knew that for a long time in America. And oppressed people from all around the world came here seeking that same freedom for themselves and their posterity, as the Constitution puts it. They came here seeking that freedom, even if it wasn't to be a Christian, to have freedom of worship. They wanted that freedom that they were given that included freedom of worship. And America has been the only place where you could genuinely have all those freedoms. And those people who came here, they found that answer that they were looking for. So I was noticing on Pearl Harbor Remembrance Day that was also this month, back on December 7th, for those of you who might not have that date jump into your mind right away. I was just stopping to kind of think about it and remember all those who gave all so that we could have all that we have. And none of them could have given their lives if Jesus hadn't given his first. And he said, greater love has no one than this, than to lay down one's life for his friends. And then he didn't just say it. He lived it. He died it. And he rose again for that. And the people who died at Pearl Harbor and throughout World War II and all the wars we've had throughout American history, so much of those lives were given, you could say lost, but given so that we could have the freedoms that we have. Currently, people want to tear down America and say terrible things about this country. And the irony is that this is the only country where you can say that without having your head cut off or shot, or, you're shot or banned, or, put in some gulag in the northern hinterlands. This is the only country where you can do what they're doing and get away with it, really. Well, you can in some Western countries in some ways, but not nearly as much as you could in America all this time. But none of those guys could have valiantly laid down their lives for our freedoms if Jesus hadn't laid his down for our ultimate and eternal freedom. I wish I could see the hearts changed in the people who control media and tech and politics and industries. And it'd just be awesome to witness the difference they could make, when they make the decision to love their neighbor. How about that? I mean, it's amazing how many people hate Christianity and hate the Christian God when he's saying there are two things you must do: love him and love your neighbor. What's all this love stuff, right? But, I'm guessing that all those people that are in those media and tech and politics and industries where they want to control everything we think and everything we say and do, I suspect they're never going to go to that area of loving their neighbor and all that, because that would take something they're all missing: humility. But don't lose hope. One day they will experience humility, and even though we might not see it here, we will see the vengeance. And from the brisk blue breeze came a static spark, like a lantern light in the deepest dark, and a single soul shared a right remark: without wisdom, quest is a question mark. Thank you so much for tuning in. Until next time, this is Tony from TonyFunderburk.com, where I hope you go over there to the merch tab, click on that, and get that t-shirt that says, "Life has rhyme and reason because God made you." There's a rhyme and reason for your